The signal from the stars. The Ganymede listening post was humanity's farthest permanent outpost in the solar system, a cluster of pressurized domes and sensor arrays perched on Jupiter's largest moon. Inside Monitoring Station 7, Dr. Eliza Chen stared at her console with growing concern. For 3 days, the same signal had been arriving at precisely 19-minute intervals. "Still think it's a sensor malfunction?" she asked, not looking up from her screen. Chief Engineer Mateo Ortiz sighed and put down his coffee. "I've run every diagnostic I know. Those pulses are real, and they're coming from somewhere near Epsilon Indi." Eliza's fingers tapped across her console, bringing up a 3-dimensional star map. "That's 17 light-years away. We don't have any settlements there yet. Precisely why we need to alert command," Mateo said, already reaching for the secure communication terminal. 20 hours later, Eliza and Mateo stood in the holographic conference room of the United Earth Defense Council in Geneva. Their discovery had bypassed normal protocols, accelerating them straight to the highest levels of Earth's military leadership. Admiral Diana Nguyen, the silver-haired head of the council, studied the signal analysis with narrowed eyes. "And you're certain this isn't natural in origin?" "The pattern repeats with mathematical precision," Eliza explained. "Each pulse contains embedded data packets, similar to our own emergency protocols but far more advanced." "It's a distress call," General Sato added from across the table. His weathered face remained impassive, but his knuckles had whitened around his stylus. "From whom?" Admiral Nguyen asked the question everyone was thinking. "Unknown," Eliza replied. "But the signal architecture suggests it's coming from the Arjuna colony ship." A heavy silence fell over the room. The Arjuna had been Earth's most ambitious colonization effort, a generation ship carrying 10,000 colonists toward the promising Epsilon Indi system. It had departed Earth 30 years ago and wasn't due to arrive for another decade. "That's impossible," Minister Okafor said, leaning forward. "The Arjuna is still in transit. They shouldn't have reached Epsilon Indi yet. Their engines were experimental," General Sato reminded everyone. "Perhaps they arrived ahead of schedule. Or something, intercepted them," Admiral Nguyen said quietly. The implications hung in the air like a storm cloud. For nearly a century, humanity had expanded through their solar system and sent probes and colony ships to nearby stars. All that time, they had encountered no signs of intelligent alien life. Many had begun to believe they were alone in their corner of the galaxy. "What defensive capabilities does the Arjuna have?" asked Minister Rodriguez, the youngest member of the council. "Minimal," General Sato replied. "It's a civilian vessel." "What about our nearest military ships?" Admiral Nguyen inquired. "The UES Dauntless could alter course," General Sato said, checking his tablet. "But even at maximum burn, they'd need 8 months to reach Epsilon Indi." "8 months is too long," Admiral Nguyen said firmly. "If the Arjuna is truly in distress, they need help now." "There is one option," came a voice from the shadowed corner of the room. All heads turned toward Dr. Victor Reyes, the elderly director of Special Weapons Development. He rarely attended council meetings, and when he did, he seldom spoke. "The Sentinel program," Dr. Reyes continued. Minister Okafor's eyes widened. "That program was discontinued decades ago." "No," Dr. Reyes corrected, standing slowly with the aid of his cane. "The program was never discontinued. It was classified beyond top secret and placed in dormancy." He approached the central holographic display and placed his palm on the reader. His clearance overrode the system, replacing the signal analysis with images that made several council members gasp. "The War Titans," Admiral Nguyen whispered. The hologram displayed 12 massive humanoid machines, each standing over 80 meters tall. Their designs varied, some heavily armored like ancient knights, others sleeker and built for speed, but all radiated an unmistakable sense of power. "The Sentinel program created these machines during the resource wars," Dr. Rice explained. "They were our ultimate deterrent, When peace was established, the council of that time decided they were too powerful to dismantle but too dangerous to keep active. So they put them to sleep, General Sato finished. Precisely, Dr. Reyes nodded. The War Titans were placed in a state of suspended animation in a facility beneath the Marianas Trench. They can be reactivated and deployed through suborbital trajectory within 48 hours. What good would these machines do against a threat 17 light-years away? Minister Rodriguez asked, bewildered. Dr. Reyes smiled thinly. The War Titans were not built only for Earth's defense. They carry experimental FTL drives, the predecessors to what was installed on the Arjuna. They can reach Epsilon Indi in 3 weeks. The council erupted in shocked murmurs. Why wasn't I informed of this capability? Admiral Nguyen demanded. Because the drives were never successfully tested, Minister Okafor cut in. The neural strain on the pilots was catastrophic. We lost 3 test subjects before the program was suspended. Neural strain? Eliza asked, speaking for the first time since the meeting began. Dr. Reyes turned to her. The War Titans cannot be controlled conventionally. They require a direct neural interface, a human pilot whose consciousness merges with the Titan systems. But that technology was experimental 20 years ago. Meteo objected. The human mind couldn't handle the data throughput. Which is why we developed the Synapse program, Dr. Reyes replied. For the past 2 decades, we've been secretly identifying and training individuals with the necessary neural architecture. Admiral Nguyen's face darkened. You've been maintaining a classified program without council authorization. With the authorization of your predecessors, Dr. Rice corrected. The contingency protocols never expired. Do we have pilots ready? General Sato asked, cutting through the tension. 5 fully trained and ready for deployment. Dr. Rice answered. We would need to activate one of our reserve candidates for the 6th Titan. Admiral Nguyen paced the length of the table. What you're suggesting is deploying experimental superweapons based on a signal we can't even fully decipher. 10,000 colonists, Eliza said quietly. If that signal is from the Arjuna, there are 10,000 lives at stake, and potentially billions more if we're witnessing first contact with a hostile species, General Sato added grimly. Admiral Nguyen stopped pacing and faced the council. I want all available data on these War Titans and their pilots. We'll reconvene in 6 hours for a final decision. As the meeting dispersed, Eliza approached Dr. Reyes. You mentioned reserve candidates for piloting. How are they selected? Dr. Reyes studied her with suddenly keen eyes. Neural compatibility is rare, Dr. Chen. Only 1 in approximately 3 million humans has the potential. And how would someone know if they had this potential? She pressed. They wouldn't, he replied, unless they were tested. Test me, Eliza said firmly. Dr. Reyes raised an eyebrow. The neural bonding process is extraordinarily painful, and the mental adjustment afterward can be challenging. 10,000 colonists, Eliza repeated. I discovered the signal. I should help respond to it. Dr. Reyes considered her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Come with me. We'll need to move quickly if you're to be ready in time. 6 hours later, the council reconvened. Dr. Reyes presented his findings, along with a startling addition. Dr. Chen has undergone preliminary compatibility testing, he announced. She shows remarkable neural plasticity and adaptation scores in the top 0.01 percentile. Admiral Nguyen looked at Eliza with surprise. You volunteered. I did, Eliza confirmed. The Arjuna's signal came to my station. I feel responsible. Responsible enough to risk your mind. Minister Okafor asked skeptically. If not me, who? Eliza countered. After hours of debate, a vote was called. The decision was made. The War Titans would be awakened. Within hours, Eliza found herself on a hypersonic transport heading toward the middle of the Pacific Ocean. As the craft descended toward what appeared to be empty ocean, a massive section of water began to churn and separate, revealing a platform rising from the depths. Welcome to Station Lazarus, Dr. Rice said as they landed. Home of the War Titans. The facility beneath the ocean was enormous, a complex of hangars, laboratories, and training centers built into the ocean floor. As Dr. Rice led her through security checkpoints, Eliza caught glimpses of frantic activity as personnel prepared for the awakening. Your Titan will be Artemis, Dr. Rice explained as they entered a medical wing. She's the reconnaissance and long-range specialist of the team. Eliza asked. The War Titans develop distinct personalities over time, Dr. Rice explained. It's a side effect of the neural bonding process. Some pilots begin to gender their machines. Artemis' last pilot was a woman who felt the Titan had feminine qualities. In a sterile preparation room, Eliza was introduced to the other pilots. Commander Jackson Way was a veteran of the Resource Wars who had volunteered for the Synapse program after retiring from active duty. He would pilot Orion, the command Titan. Major Sophia Torres, a tactical specialist, would control Vulcan, the heavy weapons platform. Dr. Nikolai Petrov, a physicist-turned-pilot, was paired with Hermes, the fastest of the Titans. Lieutenant Cameron Williams, a former Special Forces operative, would pilot Atlas, the close combat specialist. The sixth pilot, a taciturn woman introduced only as Specialist Rivera, had arrived just hours before Eliza. She would take control of Hephaestus, the engineering and repair Titan. The neural bonding will begin in 6 hours, Dr. Rice informed them. I suggest you all get some rest. It will be the last peaceful sleep you have for some time. As the others dispersed, Commander Way approached Eliza. First time. Eliza nodded. Is it that obvious? You have the look, he said with a faint smile. The same one I had 8 years ago before my first bonding. How bad is it? She asked. Commander Way's smile faded. Imagine having every synapse in your brain set on fire, then doused in ice, then stretched across light years. Then imagine that pain becoming normal. Why did you volunteer? Eliza asked after a moment's silence. Same reason as you, I expect, he replied. Someone had to do it. Get some rest, Dr. Chen. Tomorrow, you'll need every ounce of strength you have. As she lay in her assigned quarters, Eliza couldn't sleep. Through the wall-mounted display, she could watch the massive hangar where technicians swarmed over the War Titans, preparing them for activation. She focused on Artemis, a sleek, silvery machine with swept-back designs that suggested speed and precision. Tomorrow, she would become one with that machine. Her consciousness expanded to fill its massive frame. The thought should have terrified her. Instead, she felt an inexplicable sense of anticipation. In the control center, Admiral Nguyen watched the final data analysis from the mysterious signal. What do you think is out there, Victor? Dr. Rice stood beside her, eyes fixed on the War Titans below. I don't know, but whatever it is, humanity is about to announce its presence in a way the galaxy won't soon forget. The signal from Epsilon Indi continued to pulse, 19 minutes apart, as if counting down to something inevitable. Humanity's slumbering giants were about to awaken, and the silence of the stars was about to be broken. Titans awakened. The neural bonding chamber resembled a medical pod lined with a web of neural interfaces and monitoring equipment. Eliza lay back on the padded surface, dressed in a skin-tight bodysuit embedded with sensors. Her heart pounded as technicians attached electrodes to her temples, spine, and major nerve clusters. The first bonding is always the hardest, Dr. Rice explained as he supervised the preparations. Your mind will instinctively resist the connection. Try not to fight it. What exactly am I connecting with? Eliza asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Artemis has an adaptive neural matrix, a synthetic consciousness designed to interface with human pilots, Dr. Rice explained. It contains the accumulated memories and experiences of previous pilots, along with baseline tactical and operational protocols. So I'll have other people's memories. Dr. Rice nodded. In a sense, you'll retain your identity, but you'll gain access to their knowledge and experience. Over time, the boundaries may blur somewhat. Before Eliza could ask more questions, a technician injected something cold into her arm. Neural facilitators, Dr. Rice explained. They'll help your synapses adapt to the increased load. The clear dome of the bonding chamber closed over her. Through the glass, she could see similar chambers containing the other pilots. Commander Wei caught her eye and gave her a solemn nod. Beginning neural synchronization in 3, 2, 1. Pain exploded behind Eliza's eyes, white-hot needles piercing every neuron simultaneously. She tried to scream, but her muscles locked rigid as electricity cascaded through her nervous system. Images flashed through her mind. Battles she'd never fought, planets she'd never seen, faces of people long dead. Neural patterns destabilizing. A distant voice announced. Subject is fighting the connection. Through the haze of agony, Eliza heard Dr. Rice. Dr. Chen, stop resisting. Let Artemis in. How? She wanted to scream. Then, cutting through the chaos, she felt something else. A presence, cool and precise, reaching toward her consciousness. I am Artemis, it seemed to say without words. We will be one. Eliza stopped struggling. Instead of fighting the foreign presence, she reached toward it, opening her mind to the connection. The pain didn't diminish, but it transformed, becoming a burning that forged something new in the crucible of her consciousness. Neural synchronization stabilizing. The technician reported. Pattern convergence at 60%, 75%, 90%. When the connection locked into place, Eliza gasped. Suddenly, she could feel Artemis. All 80 meters of advanced alloys and energy systems. She could sense the Titan's weapons, its sensors, the steady hum of its power core. More disorienting were the memories. Experiences that weren't hers but now felt as intimate as her own childhood. The bonding chamber opened. Eliza sat up, blinking as her vision adjusted. Everything looked sharper, colors more vivid. Data appeared to overlay her surroundings. Structural analysis of the room, thermal signatures of the people around her, distance calculations updating in real time. How do you feel? Dr. Rice asked, studying her closely. Different, Eliza replied, surprised by how calm her voice sounded. I can feel her. Waiting. Dr. Rice nodded. The full activation will occur just before deployment. For now, take some time to acclimate to the partial bond. As Eliza stepped out of the chamber, she noticed the other pilots were experiencing different reactions to their bonding. Commander Wei appeared unchanged except for a new intensity in his eyes. Major Torres was methodically flexing each finger as if testing unfamiliar joints. Dr. Petrov muttered equations under his breath, his eyes darting as if reading invisible data. Lieutenant Williams stood perfectly still, seemingly focused on controlling his breathing. Only Specialist Rivera seemed truly distressed. She sat on the floor, head in her hands, her body trembling. First-timers sometimes struggle, Commander Wei explained quietly to Eliza. The mind needs time to adjust to sharing consciousness with something so alien. Dr. Rice approached Rivera and knelt beside her. Focus on your name, he instructed gently. Your identity. It's still yours. Slowly, Rivera's trembling subsided. When she looked up, her eyes had the same intense focus that Eliza now recognized in all the pilots. Titans have docked with the transport vessel, announced a voice over the facility's communications system. Departure in 3 hours. The transport ship, UES Prometheus, was the largest vessel in Earth's fleet, specifically designed to carry the war Titans to distant deployment zones. As Eliza boarded alongside the other pilots, she felt a strange sense of déjà vu. Through Artemis's memories, she recognized the vessel's layout despite never having set foot on it before. The 6 war Titans were secured in massive cradles in the ship's central bay. Through viewports, Eliza could see Artemis, sleek and silver compared to the bulkier designs of Orion and Atlas. Looking at the machine, she felt an echo of connection, like seeing her own reflection in a distant mirror. Impressive, aren't they? Commander Wei said, joining her at the viewport. Hard to believe humans built them. Did we? Eliza asked. Some of these memories, they suggest the technology was adapted from something else. Wei's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. Those would be the classified memories. I recommend not discussing them outside secure environments. The journey to the edge of the solar system took 3 days. During that time, the pilots underwent intensive integration training, exercises designed to strengthen their neural bonds and prepare them for full activation. Eliza found herself adapting more quickly than expected, assimilating Artemis's tactical knowledge and sensory capabilities with surprising ease. "You're a natural," Dr. Rice commented during one assessment. "Your neural patterns are integrating with remarkable efficiency." "It doesn't feel like integration," Eliza admitted. "It feels like remembering something I always knew." Dr. Rice nodded thoughtfully. "That's actually an excellent sign. The best partnerships feel natural, not forced." On the 3rd day, Admiral Nguyen addressed the pilots via secure holographic link. "We've received additional transmissions from Epsilon Indi," she reported grimly. "The signal structure has changed. It's become more erratic. Our linguists believe it's a battle communication now, not just a distress call." "The Arjuna is fighting back," Commander Wee surmised. "Against what?" Lieutenant Williams asked the question they were all thinking. "Unknown," Admiral Nguyen replied. "But we're sending you to find out. And if necessary, intervene. Your primary mission is reconnaissance and assessment. Engage only if humanity is threatened. With respect, Admiral." Major Torres interjected. "If the Arjuna is already under attack, humanity is threatened." Admiral Nguyen's expression remained impassive. "Your authorization protocols allow for defensive action at Commander Wei's discretion. But remember, this could be our first contact with an intelligent alien species. Diplomatic considerations must be weighed alongside military response." "Understood, Admiral," Commander Wee acknowledged. "One final note," Admiral Nguyen added. "The FTL drives on the War Titans have never been field-tested with human pilots. The transition will be difficult. Prepare yourselves." After the briefing, Dr. Reyes gathered the pilots for final instructions. "Full neural activation will occur immediately before FTL transition," he explained. "During transit, your consciousness will be fully merged with your Titan. The experience is disorienting. Your human senses will perceive the void between stars in ways they were never designed to process." "Will we remember who we are?" Rivera asked quietly. "Your core identity should remain intact," Dr. Reyes replied, though Eliza noticed he didn't sound entirely certain. "Focus on your mission. That purpose will anchor you." As the Prometheus approached the designated jump point beyond Neptune's orbit, the pilots were sealed into their Titans. Eliza felt the neural interface ports connect to her bodysuit as Artemis's cockpit closed around her. "Neural synchronization commencing," came the technician's voice. "Full activation in 3, 2, 1. The partial bond Eliza had experienced during training was nothing compared to the full activation. Her consciousness expanded explosively, filling Artemis's vast frame. Suddenly, she was 80 meters tall, her skin made of advanced alloys, her vision encompassing the full electromagnetic spectrum. She could feel the magnetic fields of the solar system, taste radiation from distant stars. Through the Titan's external sensors, she saw the other machines activating. Orion's commanding presence, Vulcan's weapons systems humming to life, Herm's sleek form vibrating with barely contained energy, Atlas flexing its massive arms, and Hephaestus's utility systems running diagnostics. All Titans showing stable neural patterns, reported the Prometheus Control Center. Preparing for deployment. The massive bay doors of the Prometheus opened, revealing the void of space. One by one, the War Titans stepped out of their cradles, using maneuvering thrusters to stabilize themselves in the zero gravity. "Titans, form up," Commander Wei ordered through Orion. His voice resonated differently now, layered with the Titans' communication systems. Prepare for FTL initiation. The 6 massive machines arranged themselves in a precise formation. Through Artemis, Eliza could feel the FTL drive powering up, an experimental system that would tear a hole in space-time and propel them 17 light-years in 3 weeks. FTL transition in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reality fractured. Eliza screamed as Artemis's consciousness screamed with her. The universe seemed to fold around them, compressing infinite distance into a single point before stretching it into a tunnel of distorted light and sensation. Time lost meaning. Eliza's human mind struggled to process what her Titan senses were experiencing. Stars streaked by like rain on a window. Gravity waves washed over her in nauseating pulses. Occasionally, she caught glimpses of impossible geometries, spaces that shouldn't exist in 3 dimensions. Through it all, she clung to her identity and mission. I am Eliza Chen. I pilot Artemis. We are responding to a distress call. After what felt like both an eternity and an instant, reality reasserted itself. The War Titans emerged from FTL near Epsilon Indi, their massive forms adjusting to normal space as their drives powered down. Status report. Commander Wei ordered through Orion. One by one, the Titans confirmed their operational status. When it was Eliza's turn, she was surprised by how calm her voice sounded through Artemis's communication system. Artemis functional. All systems nominal. Scan the system. Commander Wei instructed. Find the Arjuna. Through Artemis's advanced sensor suite, Eliza swept the Epsilon Indi system. She detected the star, its planets, radiation signatures, and contact, she reported. Multiple large objects in orbit around the 4th planet. One matches Arjuna's configuration, but it's damaged. As they approached, the situation became clearer. The Arjuna hung in orbit, its massive generation habitat sections breached in multiple places. Surrounding it were 5 crystalline vessels of alien design, each nearly a kilometer long. Energy weapons lanced between the ships, indicating an ongoing battle. Life signs on the Arjuna? Commander Wei asked. Eliza focused Artemis's sensors. Approximately 6,000 human life signs detected. Multiple sections show atmospheric breach. They're losing air. And the alien vessels. Organic technology. Dr. Petrov reported through Hermes. Biomechanical construction unlike anything in our databases. Life signs present, but unusual. Not baseline carbon patterns. They're harvesting, Lieutenant Williams suddenly said through Atlas. His voice sounded strange, almost doubled, as if someone else spoke with him. They're extracting humans. I've seen this before. Explain, Commander Wei demanded. Not me, Williams replied. Atlas remembers them. They came before, long ago. They harvest sentient species for experimentation. A chill ran through Eliza, both her human consciousness and Artemis's synthetic one. Through the Titan's memories, fragmented images surfaced of a conflict predating the resource wars, a classified encounter that had led to the creation of the War Titans in the first place. Incoming transmission. Major Torres reported through Vulcan. From the Arjuna. A distorted human voice came through their communication systems. Under attack by unknown hostile force. We've lost 3 habitat sections and thousands of colonists. They're taking people alive. Please, if anyone receives this. This is Commander Jackson Wei of Earth Defense Force. Wei responded. We are deploying War Titans in your defense. Hold position. There was a moment of shocked silence before the voice replied. War Titans, those are just legends. Not anymore. Wei said grimly. All Titans, Battle Formation Alpha. Prepare for engagement. As the 6 War Titans accelerated toward the conflict, one of the alien vessels broke away from the Arjuna and moved to intercept them. It fired a burst of energy that rippled through space toward them. Evasive maneuvers, Wei ordered. Eliza felt Artemis respond instantly, her massive form moving with unexpected grace as she dodged the incoming fire. The other Titans scattered similarly, except for Major Torres and Vulcan, who raised energy shields that deflected the blast. Artemis, reconnaissance data. Y commanded, find their weaknesses. Eliza extended Artemis's full sensor suite, probing the alien vessel's structure and energy signatures. Data flooded her consciousness, automatically analyzed by the Titan's battle computers. Hull integrity strongest at the center. Weakens toward the propulsion nodes. Energy weapons draw power from a central core. They have a 3-second recharge cycle between maximum yield shots. Acknowledged, Y replied. Atlas, Hermes, flanking approach. Vulcan, suppression fire. Hephaestus, prepare repair nanites for the Arjuna. Artemis, you're with me. The War Titans moved with perfect coordination, born of both their neural-linked pilots and their own synthetic intelligences. As they closed with the alien vessel, it launched smaller craft, each the size of a fighter jet, but organic in appearance. Secondary threats incoming. Eliza reported through Artemis, her Titan's targeting systems automatically tracking each one. Engage at will, Y ordered. Artemis's weapon systems activated, long-range particle beams lancing out to intercept the smaller craft. Each shot connected with perfect precision, a result of both Eliza's natural talent and Artemis' accumulated combat experience. The smaller alien craft exploded in bursts of biological matter and crystalline fragments. Meanwhile, Atlas and Hermes reached the main vessel, dodging its energy weapons. Atlas's massive fists, augmented with gravitational manipulation fields, punched through the alien hull, while Hermes moved so quickly it appeared to flicker in and out of visibility, placing explosive charges at strategic points. Vulcan unleashed a barrage of weapons fire, forcing the alien vessel to divert power to defensive measures, while Orion coordinated the attack from a command position, predicting enemy movements and adjusting the Titan's strategy in real time. The alien vessel's response was immediate and devastating. It released a pulse of energy that knocked Atlas backward and disrupted Hermes' speed systems. A focused beam nearly severed one of Vulcan's secondary weapon arms. They're adapting to our attack patterns, Y warned. Switch to Protocol Omega. The War Titans immediately changed tactics, their movements becoming more unpredictable. Eliza felt Artemis's combat systems suggesting strategies based on previous encounters, tactics that seemed to anticipate the aliens' responses before they occurred. As the battle intensified, Eliza noticed something strange. The aliens weren't trying to destroy the Titans, they were attempting to capture them. Grappling beams and containment fields reached out, trying to ensnare rather than destroy. They want the technology, she realized aloud. They recognize the Titans. Confirmed, Y replied grimly. All units, full offensive deployment authorized. Protect the Arjuna at all costs. The War Titans unleashed their full arsenal. Vulcan's main cannon fired a stream of accelerated particles that cut through the alien vessel's hull. Atlas generated a gravitational singularity that crushed one section of the ship. Hermes deployed hypervelocity projectiles that penetrated deep before detonating. Hephaestus released swarms of nanites that began disassembling the alien technology at a molecular level. Through Artemis, Eliza targeted the vessel's power core with surgical precision, her Titan's advanced weapons burning through layer after layer of alien biotech. The alien vessel shuddered, its crystalline structure fracturing under the coordinated assault. When it finally broke apart in a spectacular explosion, the other alien ships ceased their attack on the Arjuna and turned toward the Titans. They're communicating, Eliza reported, Artemis's sensors detecting complex energy patterns between the alien vessels. Coordinating a response. A transmission suddenly washed over their communication systems, not in words but in sensory impressions that somehow translated to meaning in their merged consciousnesses. Retuar and Wukake ways take in. The Harvester's CLAM right of Kiololisitaan. Commander Way's response through Orion was immediate and resolute. Humanity claims right of defense. Leave this system or be destroyed. There was a pause before the alien response came. This is always primitive. These machines should not exist, yet. You judged wrong, Wei replied. Humanity is not as quiet as you thought. The alien vessels began to move into an attack formation. Through Artemis's sensors, Elisa detected energy buildups suggesting weapons far more powerful than what they had faced so far. All Titans, Wei commanded, defensive formation beta. Prepare for maximum engagement. As the war Titans regrouped, protecting the damaged Arjuna behind them, Elisa felt a strange sense of rightness wash over her. Through Artemis's memories and her own determination, she knew this was what humanity had built the Titans for, to stand as guardians against the darkness between stars. The aliens had believed humanity was quiet, primitive, unprepared. They were about to learn how wrong they were. For Earth, Commander Wei said as the alien fleet advanced. For humanity, the other pilots responded in unison, their voices and their Titans' voices merging into one defiant declaration that echoed across the void. The war Titans stood ready, humanity's answer to the signal from the stars.